Fate of the universe on the line. I want Iguodala.
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am.
Hurry, way downtown. Bang! Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Is this the dagger?
Zion came back chunky. The ref's whistle didn't turn funky. Warriors basketball is back in quite the way, traversing space-time like LeBron, always on. It's Hashtag Ball is NBA podcast, your favorite NBA podcast in an Indian accent. If this is your first time listening to us, my name is Sachin and I urge you all to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts at, because it's free, eco-friendly, and a very sweet thing to do. In the association this week, OKC forgot their tanking duties and proceeded to beat the Lakers twice. LeBron James used his downtime to perfect time travel, and Karl Anthony Towns remembered that 3-game slides have a nasty history in Minnesota. Speaking of quick, I've got with me, as always, someone who runs the 100-meter in 15 seconds, someone who hates waiting at Starbucks, and someone who can edit a podcast in 100 minutes flat. My co-host, Vinith Devaya. Welcome back to the pod.
Wow.
As always.
Where do you come up with these things, man? How does it just pop up?
It's all in the brain. You can't control it. It's like a horse. You just let it go. Vinith, what is up? You moved into a new apartment. Is that in Luxembourg or is it some?
No, same part in Luxembourg. I just I didn't renew my contract on the older apartment, so that's pretty much it.
And is this apartment podcast friendly?
Not very podcast friendly, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's just my room is right next to the bathroom, and so if anyone goes to shower, there's some weird static noise in my whole room. I don't know what noise it is, but it's just, I think it's like the heater or something. So not very podcast, not very meeting friendly also.
But meetings, I think, are a little bit more forgiving. Podcasts, people are like, oh, quality is bad. Oh, fuck this podcast.
Yes.
Meetings are like, yes, I still like the person, so it should be fine. Yes, Vinith, tell us a great idea. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, that's true.
Vinith, you got to get down to the brass tacks. Warriors Hoopla, hype or hope? Warriors have been playing amazingly well. 7-1 to start the season. They've beaten pretty much sort of mediocre teams only. They beat the Lakers and Clippers in the first 2 games, but after that it's been more or less. They played the Pelicans and Grizzlies. Not in Grizzlies. Grizzlies is the one loss that they had. They played Pelicans. They played Charlotte and Sacramento. All those kind of teams. Do you see them as the successor to the 2015-2016 Warriors, or do you think it's still too early in the season and that they've not really faced any great competition?
What do you think, Ashwin?
I think it's a bit of both. I don't flip the question on me, man. Like I'm sitting here around doing the host job, but I feel it's a bit of both. I think they played pretty much teams who, again, not that great, not that good. They have their continuity, but so do the Warriors. The Warriors have almost the same team as last year. Last year they were not great, but they had the thing. And Steph has come out stroking fire this season. So I think
what's that thing that they have?
The thing is Steph. They have Steph. That's what they have. They've always had Steph, but now they have Jordan Poole scoring 25 points. They have Andrew Wiggins coming in and doing his thing. They've got all these players, extremely selfless basketball. There's no you don't see any shades of Lakers or the Bucks or anyone where there's the ball comes to one place and then it just stops moving. The ball is and then the defenses are also collapsing. That's what I feel. It's still early, but winning 7 games out of 8 is never easy. So I feel it is what is the word? Hoopla, though. Is that the word? Hype. Yes, it's hype. What do you think?
Hype. Ashwin was not expecting this role reversal. He was like, oh no, I have to come up with an answer now.
I was going to go off of whatever you said. I think if you said it's hype, I'd be like, no, it's hope. If you said it is hope, I'd be like, no, it's hype.
Yeah, I mean, I think Steph, I think before the start of the season, I said Steph is very competitive. He has another 5-year run like he had before. That he's in the GOAT conversation, right? And so I think for him now, that's his kind of like, he doesn't want to relax at this point because, I mean, another 5 years and then he's out of the league. But if he performs at a very, very high level, he's a top 50. He's already a top 20 player without any problem. So if he can show that he can carry a team and if he can become MVP again or scoring champion, the team, so those things kind of play a part for his legacy. So he's driven in that sense to play at a very high level. So I think he's not going to let the Warriors screw up like he did last time. I mean, they didn't make the playoff, right? They lost in the play-in to the Lakers.
No, they lost to Memphis. Yeah, to Memphis
or
and
Lakers?
They lost both. They lost to Lakers, so they had to play Memphis, and then they lost that also.
Yeah, and so I think that will all be like an issue for I think Steph is that he couldn't get a team into the playoffs, right? So I think he's motivated, and sometimes early in the season when you have a person of Steph's caliber that's extremely motivated, like on the other side, it becomes difficult to win. So I think it will even out over the period of 82 games. Steph is not going to be Steph for 82 games. There are going to be games where he's not, carrying the Warriors on his shoulders. But, top
I think
six,
they already had 2 of those games, but they came against Pelicans and I think Charlotte. He's had 2 games where he scored only 15 points each. I think 16 points in 2 games. But then Jordan Poole showed up, and your Gary Payton the second showed up, and Wiggins and like all these other players sort of showed up. And
but I think that I mean, eventually it's going to all even out, but there is a possibility for them to win the top 3 in the Western Conference because Lakers seem to be kind of not in sync, and Clippers don't seem to have made any kind of move towards the top. And so other than Utah Jazz and maybe the Mavericks, Nuggets, it's tough to see anyone else.
Mavericks also, I don't think Mavericks have also had a pretty rough start, but I don't understand this. This is like first season with Jason Kidd at the helm, but their philosophy it's probably remained the same. Like their play style has not changed. I saw their game against, who was it? I forgot. It was a 1-point game. The Mavericks against the Spurs, I think. It didn't seem like they had any sort of a different identity than last year. Last year it was like, use Luka, get 3-pointers free, and then shoot. Like they were the best offensive team ever, purely by numbers, right? Like that offensive rating. Their offensive rating was the best of all time. I think Bucks were second, but Bucks had a great defensive thing also. The Mavericks didn't really care about defense. They were like, we just gonna. It was like the hardened system and Rockets on speed. It's not changed much. I mean, maybe they're just sort of still figuring it out. So I don't know about Dallas, but Utah. There's Utah. I don't want to talk about the Lakers. I think Clippers, once they get Kawhi back, they'll have that proper roster will be there. Warriors are definitely looking like the best team in the their 7-1 record is like, even if the strength of schedule is a little weak, they have played like whoever they got. They beat the Lakers, they beat the Clippers. Now after that, if you get weak opponents, it's not really their fault. I think Memphis is also a good team. Ja Morant has come out strong in his 3rd year, so I think the West is pretty wide open. I don't see a clear contender.
And I think this is probably the first time. Yeah, probably the first time in a long in a long time that the West is not the stronger conference. Yeah, I think the Eastern Conference is a little bit more stronger.
Yeah, I think with the emergence of Heat and the Bulls, I think the Palra, as they say, has thoda sa is taraf.
A little bit, yeah. And Charlotte is also quite good.
Charlotte, I think, is fine. But I think the Heat and Bulls are absolute. For me now, it has become that it doesn't matter who you beat. When you play against the Heat, what is going to be the game? How are they going to play the game is what really you're going to be like. Like Warriors are playing the Heat, I think, in a couple of weeks. I mean, I think we'll be back by then. Lakers are playing the Heat, and for me, that game is going to be one of those games which I'm going to like put an alarm and wake up and watch the game, because Heat are very good offensively. They have great matchups for all the players, like the Lakers sides and the Warriors side. They beat Milwaukee by 42 points, but I'm sort of willing to go a little bit like, fine, it's early season. Like Milwaukee always has a tough time with the Heat.
Isn't Middleton injured also?
They're fully fitted. Middleton, was he injured that game?
I think he's not been
injured
playing,
that
right?
game. He got injured. Yeah, he's entered COVID protocols. He's COVID guy.
The NBA 2K released ratings of like old players and legends of, or they have the NBA 75 team, and Kobe got 98, and literally every comment under that was, why is Kobe not 99? Why is Kobe not 99? Like, you won't find any other fan base complaining about like in 99 there was Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, and Magic, right? And then on 98 was Dirk, Kobe, Hakeem, Tim Duncan, KG, the usual suspects, Bill Russell. People were like, why is Kobe not 99? Kobe is definitely 99. Like, that was the only fan base that was mad about Kobe being 98. And so my question to you is like, because you're a Kobe fan, and I'm very interested in your perspective, because Kobe had that kind of mind-bending marketing jutsu, the Mamba mentality. And I think a lot of people were impressed with it. A lot of people are still under that trance of the Mamba mentality. So as someone who also thinks he's logical while also being tranced by Mamba mentality, my question to you is, what about the Mamba mentality that you understand what I'm saying? Like, take yourself and put yourself into, like, there's the difference between you and an anti-vax is not different, So I'm asking, like, how do you, like...
There's some amount of suspension of logic, yeah.
Suspension of logic, yes. So where does that suspend... Like, even I kind of, like, I remember, like, we had this podcast where I asked you what a pure scorer is. And I think, like, while you were explaining me, you realized, shit, my explanation makes no sense. Was it true? Like, it really felt like you were trying to explain, and suddenly, like, shit, what the fuck am I talking?
That has happened to me multiple times, and it will continue to happen. But I think that's the litmus test for any person who suspends logic, right? Like, you question them. Slowly, they will, like, if they are smart enough, they will start thinking that, what am I saying? Like, I just said something else 5 seconds ago, and then now I'm saying something else, because they are driven. The conversation, the dialogue is driven by emotion. It's not necessarily driven. And I think that's what it is, right? Like, it's difficult to explain. Like, a very simple question, like, what is love? You can have a logical explanation to it, which is
love. It's a song, right? What is love?
You're gonna go there. So I'm just saying that.
It's very, very, very.
Yeah, it is. Now it's playing in my head. But let's stop. Okay, so I'm saying that there is one way of looking at it, which is that your heartbeat changes, or when you see that other person, your pupils dilate, or something. There's some very, very, very clear indications that is love. But that could just be infatuation. But you ask someone, it's more of a feeling, right? It's more of I really vibe with this person. My wavelengths and their wavelengths are coming together, and like that. And it doesn't make any sense. Like, they cannot explain that any more eloquently. There's no, like, it's not a very eloquent explanation that they have, because they can't put what they're feeling into words. With Kobe, I think, at least, I think all Kobe fans and all, yes, they're Kobe fans, but I think they like being Kobe fans. They like defending this person because there are always attacks on him. Like, the reason Tim Duncan doesn't have any, like, great fan base is because nobody attacks Tim Duncan and says that, he's... nobody's saying that Tim Duncan
also the Tim Duncan fans. Like, if you tell me Tim Duncan was not a great shooter, I'll be like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm not going to say, but do you remember the time against the Suns where he hit the 3-point to close the game, But so like, I think there is the both of it. It's like, one is obviously you can't attack it, but even if you attack a Tim Duncan fan, they'll be like, oh yeah, that's fine. But like, if you tell Kobe fans like, oh, but Kobe is very inefficient, he took really bad shots. He didn't take bad shots. That was his mentality. He wanted to take the shot. He wanted to like, suppress the opponent.
He had to take those shots. He had to take those shots because he had to change the momentum of the game. He had to do those things. All flashy player fans I've met are themselves flashy. They see a part of themselves in that player that they follow. It's not that you are a boring, like, you are a very stoic person and you follow someone very flashy. If you are a stoic person, you're going to follow stoic people because you see in them what you could have been if you were good. Like flashy people, like people who just talk a lot, like, who want to take that last shot, who want to become a hero. They want to feel 100 people shouting their name and all that. Those people are going to follow people like that. Like that's what I feel. It's not very independent. Like, it's not that, like your personality is X and you follow a Y. Like that doesn't make any sense. And like the kind of person you are going to follow that person, and then you tell me who you are a fan of, and I can sort of be like, okay, this is the kind of person you are. And today, I think today most people are just following Kobe because Kobe has that polarizing effect, and everything in this world which is polarized has enough people.
Also, it's a good business decision. So supporting Kobe content, because you have like we have seen this, right? Whenever you put any Kobe,
you have enough of it. You have enough of it. Yeah.
You have enough of it, and like every 2 days there'll be some post. Never forget Kobe did this to this guy. Never forget Kobe did this dunk on this when I forward you to this. Like, never forget. I mean, why would I remember it? All right, let's move on.
I was very sad when I saw Zion Williamson the other day. Man looked like he was 350 pounds. Oh God, And they were saying that he's going to be back in like 2-3 weeks. I'm like, how can he be back in 2-3 weeks?
And he does
not look like he can. Yeah. No, he's young, but let me finish my thought. So he is young, but he's gotten like so out of shape that he does not look in basketball shape. So imagine like somebody of that nature. Like, he has played heavy, 285 pounds. I think that was his playing weight. I think there have been talks that he should be playing like at a 260 pounds. That should be his weight, because that'll not tax his body too much. And yet he can, with that 280 pounds, he can jump out of the building like crazy. But I mean, I heard reports of 320 pounds in that range. Both of us huge fans of Zion, because we see that he's not a selfish player. He passes the ball. He plays the game the right way. He's skilled in front of the basket. Defense can come and do that audacious block out of the blue. Do you think there's any way that he's going to come back in 2-3 weeks, or is this like a major setback for him?
I think that for someone who was fat and still is fat, I didn't really realize this, but when you're fat, like, you can't do certain moves on the basketball court. So your game changes, the way you play. You play a little slower. You play a little bit bully ball. But when I started playing basketball, I wasn't that fat. Like, I was this smaller point guard for all the teams I played. And I had to play a different style of game. So in a way, I feel like maybe this could help him because it will maybe teach him how to play a little slower, because I feel like even at 260 or 280 that he was, I think his knees will definitely crumble the way he plays. Like, he's like a ping pong, like the way he elevates is kind of like Derrick Rose. And so at that weight, so he's never known any other way to play. So I think that maybe when he's like a bit fatter, he will learn to play a little slower and more a little bit bully ball. The problem with Zion is he always has a funny walk. So when you see him walking, I think a lot of people are like, oh, look at him walking. He's so fat, he can't even walk. He used to walk like that even when he was in school. Like, if you see all his, like, he's got that kind of like a duck walk. Yeah, but that's not necessarily because he's fat. That's just the way he walks. I think if he plays himself into shape and he realizes that fitness is very important for him, I think it will be good for his career. But the only silver lining to all of this is I feel like when you are fatter and you don't have elevation, you learn different skill sets to be effective on the court. Like the way right now James Harden has to learn how to play because he's fat and he can't get his first step up. Like he can't blow by any of his defenders. So now he has to learn other tricks of the trade. So maybe when Zion comes in and, with the Pelicans not doing really well, he'll actually have a lot of time to maybe learn different ways to be effective on the court and not just be a, like a dunker or, just someone who's pure athleticism, but like maybe he can have a step back, fade away. He can have a more reliable jumper. I think that for me, that is the only silver lining that I can think of when someone's athleticism goes off.
I think you're being very, very optimistic.
Yeah, I'm being obviously very optimistic.
It's not easy to... okay. It's not that easy to do anything at that weight because you have to run up, run down. Like, I know he's very young, but maybe it is... I mean, I've never lost like a lot of weight. I've never gained that much weight also, but I don't think it's possible. Well, I think it is...
Okay, so
it might be possible because he's young.
No, but the point is, what is going to happen, right? He's going to come fat. He's going to play. He's going to be bad, right? The Pelicans are already bad. The Pelicans are not going to let him go. They're not going to trade him. So my point is that all of those things are true. If he doesn't get hurt, he'll still play fat and he won't be that great. So it will give him an opportunity. If he is a competitive guy, he's like, shit, I can't get the things that I could get before. I need to learn other things till I get into shape. Like he's not going to get into shape in 2 weeks. That's obvious. So the only silver lining and the only thing that I think maybe he can learn is, okay, what are the other skill sets I can develop being a little bit bulkier and not having that athleticism to dunk whenever I can. And that could help because the Pelicans are going nowhere anyways. So they're not going to trade Zion anyways. So Zion basically has them hostage. And, if he's a smart guy and if he is someone who wants to get better at basketball, he'll learn all those skill sets instead of like forcing the case or doing something like that. So that's the only thing I can think of.
There's only one way to find that out. We hope that Zion comes back healthy, like at least, eventually, so that we can see, because it'll be a disaster to watch a number 1 draft pick just crumble away without any sort of a like major injury story to it. So it's the constant sword of Damocles on top of him.
What's that? Sword of what?
Sword of Damocles. You don't know that? There's a sword hanging. Like it's like the constant fear of something about to happen. So that people can know what it is. It's called the sword of Damocles. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but I mean, it looks like that's how it's pronounced. Anyway, moving on. The Phoenix Suns. Robert Sarver, 17-year tenure as owner, has led to allegations of racism, misogyny within the Phoenix Suns. It's the big story. ESPN released the story, I think, last week. Not even last week. 2 days ago, they released the story. I read the entire article. It was fun. It was hilarious. It was hilarious because I am not a part of the Phoenix Suns, but like some of the things that he said and then, the internet comments, all of that hilarious. Vineet, why can't white men be racist? What is going on?
Why can't white men be racist or why can't white men not be racist?
No. Why can't white men be racist? Like they have so much money, they own teams, and now you're telling them they can't be racist. But what is going on in that country?
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I think that, one can look at this and think it's a hit piece, because, listen, man, there is no organization in this world where everything is white.
Hunky-dory.
Yeah. And so they act like as though Robert Sarver's job is to like go and make sure that everything is hunky-dory. I mean, I don't know where he made his money, but I think Phoenix Suns is not his like main thing.
Pet project.
Project. It's just like a pet project he does. And sometimes, these rich people, especially self-made rich people, they are rich because they have a certain abrasive personality where they are not willing to listen to your bullshit. They don't have time for it. They cut to the chase. They're very direct. There's no politically correct conversation happening, and that usually rubs people the wrong way. Especially when someone wants a hit piece. Like, I'm sure if I was rich and someone wanted to do a hit piece about me, and they went and asked 1,000 people, 100 people would say like, "Oh yeah, Vinit said this like really shitty things to me that really hurt my feelings." I mean, it's very possible that I said something that hurt somebody, but that has most, now with the racism stuff, I think it had to do mostly with him using the N-word, and I think that is not corroborated properly. Like, the only person saying that he said that was the Earl Watson, and conveniently no one else was in that room. So who knows what goes behind the scenes, right? Like, so I mean, I don't know how much of this is true, but I am I do kind of hang out in some of these circles, some rich competitive circles, and if someone wants to get hold of the Suns franchise and Robert Sarver is not letting it go, there are various ways to get it, and so bad PR is one of them. So there could be a lot of things that go behind these large scale allegations, especially on the head honchos. These kind of like hit pieces, what they call them, like there are a lot of hit pieces on Elon Musk. Like, it's very common for these things to happen. And, I mean, it wasn't like he was hiring biased, or he was, it wasn't like a clear-cut case of like systematic racism in the Suns franchise, right? Like the way it was with the Clippers franchise, and the way the Clippers owners were known to like not give housing to.
I think the only difference between what Clippers guy, what is the Clippers guy's name? Don Sterling, yes. Between what Don Sterling did and what Robert Sarver did, there was like an audio clip of Don Sterling, a voice message of him saying, like, without that, then there's not much difference between these allegations.
Well, no,
because it's just like a case of.
Well, because Don Sterling also was like, many cases were against him, many legal cases were against him.
Yes, but the final nail in that coffin was that voice message, because without him, I don't think they could have taken that franchise away from him.
Yeah,
they literally took the franchise from him.
And think about it, right? Think about it. Why would his girlfriend, or whatever I think it was a girlfriend, right, or wife, I don't know.
Yeah, girlfriend.
Record that message. Like, have you ever recorded someone's phone call? I have never recorded someone's phone call.
I have recorded people's phone calls, but not for nefarious purposes.
Okay. I've never had the reason to, like, someone calls me, I'm not going to like, oh, let me record what this person is saying. And, yeah, so it's possible. With Robert Sarver, I don't know, man. I mean, I read the piece and I just felt like there wasn't much. Like, there wasn't like,
I feel
like, he says, she says, he said, this guy, that guy.
Yeah, I feel like if I had to be like a judge, then there's nothing very substantial. It's all people saying these things, which is enough for an investigation. But like, I don't know if the NBA can take any action without a concrete proof with them, like some sort of video clip or an audio clip, something which substantiates this. Because a lot of people have said this, and it's not just the Earl Watson incident, right? Like, it's about the did you hear about the LaMarcus Aldridge trying to recruit some sort of that incident where it's like, we should have strippers go up to these NBA players and get impregnated by them and then have their babies, so that the NBA players are now forced to stay in Phoenix. Because one of the reasons LaMarcus said that he wanted to stay in that area was that in San Antonio, when he was when he was moving from Portland, was that his kids live in Texas, so he wants to be closer to that area. So his Robert Sarver's great idea was to have strippers get impregnated, become.
I didn't read that part. Where is that part?
Mind-boggling. Yeah, it's there. It's, I think, like couple of scrolls down. Like that was one of his genius ideas. So I'm saying that.
But it's a funny
The
idea.
Earl Watson thing, obviously, it's a hilarious idea, but it's funny for an SNL skit. It's not great for actually pitching to your team. Again, this is what you should do.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he was joking. That's my point. It's just like, yeah.
I agree, but if you can explain to me the difference between malice and a joke, which if enough people are not laughing at your joke, then is this really a joke? Isn't that what they teach you at? I don't know if Teleport Me has the prevention of sexual harassment things. What is that called? Like a seminar.
Seminar, no.
So there they say that the mantra is, it doesn't matter what the intent of the speaker is. What matters is how the person who heard it felt. Now, the allegations go from not just saying the N word. It's things that you're just a bad owner. You think that people are your property. Now, I'm not sure. Does that really concern the NBA enough to be like, you're a bad manager, we will take the team away from you? Is that possible? I don't know if that's even possible for them to do that. There has to be something which is detrimental to the league's image, is what I believe. That's why they took Donald Sterling away, because something very concrete came up and they were like, no, we cannot be associated. We cannot be looked at as a league which supports people like that. So we have to do this. Now, if you're a bad owner, is that really offensive to anyone? If you're a bad owner,
that's not NBA. But NBA wants bad owners,
so that they stay. They don't move their franchise. But I mean, that's from whatever I read, it seems like a very one-person point of view. They said that this is what happened, and Robert has denied all these allegations. They said no, it was taken out of context. Blah 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 blah. So we have only seen one side, and it really the whole marketing of it, which was done, and the way it is, it seems very that there is a clear case of this is what we want to achieve, which is to remove this person from the guy.
Yeah, that's why I felt it was like a hit piece, because it just felt like a hit piece. It didn't feel like it's coming from a.
But I mean, I think the least the NBA can do is probably investigate it. Then they will come out with their report and then decide. But I don't think unless they find something very, very concrete, like something which is could explode on social media, I don't think they're gonna fire the guy. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna be as easy as removing Don Sterling was from the Clippers. I don't think it's gonna be that easy.
He should cash out, man. I think if he could sell, he's probably like 60, maybe 50, 60, 65, maybe. I don't know how old he is, but we can make like a $3-4 billion you could sell the Suns franchise for. So why not?
Yeah, I think I don't know the latest valuations, but $2.5 to $3 billion does not sound like a far-fetched scenario.
Far-fetched, yeah. Then put it all in crypto. Are you in crypto, Ashwin?
No. I saw crypto and I knew that this is not something I understand, and I really am done putting money in things I don't understand, just hoping that my luck favors me, because it doesn't. I didn't understand crypto. I'll tell you honestly. The thing is, I sort of understand cryptocurrency as a concept, but once it became a commodity which was being traded, I was like, now there is no point of me getting into the market, because in the market, 90% of the people lose money. Only 10% of the people get money. And the more there's a reason why throughout India, all the influencers, everybody is just trying to drum up people for this crypto thing. They want to increase the 90%. They want more people to put in money so that all of them lose their money. And a few people make money and they're like, oh, crypto is amazing. But because it is no longer a form of currency, it has become that exchange.
Like, have you ever, I always ask Bitcoin people, have you ever used Bitcoin for something? If it's a currency, have you used it somewhere? And they're like, no. Then why is it $1 trillion market cap? What exactly? It's like gold. It's like it's not really like gold. Because gold is actually
give gold to someone. They'll be like, thank you so much. I give Bitcoin to someone. They're like, I don't know what to do with this.
So yesterday I read about this company called Chingari raising $40 million on their on their token release. Did you know that in India?
Chingari. No.
It's like a TikTok apparently. I think Ramya might know. She must have gotten some offers to promote it. But
she's not very big on social. She doesn't care.
Yeah, but Chingari app apparently is like when TikTok got banned, this is when they came out. And obviously
I thought they had something called MX Takatak.
No, that is MX Players TikTok.
Oh.
This Chingari was a completely separate thing, and they launched their crypto this thing, I think a couple of weeks back, and they raised $40 million from Indians.
I think it's great. I think all these people should lose their money, and then they'll. I just hope that my money is not somehow tied up in their money, so that I look at my account and suddenly like, what the hell, where did my money go?
What if which bank do you have your money? What if they like buy a massive cryptocurrency they invest?
Exactly. So that it's so convoluted that people are they just don't care. They're just like, say we do this, and I don't understand. And how can you? And another thing I don't understand is NFC. Is it NFC?
NFT.
Not NFC. It's NFT. NFTs. It's a picture. I can right click and save tokens. It, and you'll be happy. Unbelievable that there is a market for that. Again, another thing that I'm never going to put my money in because I don't understand the concept of it. But again, something which is getting a lot of money and ruining people's sleeps. I think anyone who loses money in that crypto deserves to lose their money. That idiots like that. You think rich people want us to get rich? Rich people do not want us to get rich. Rich people just want us to think that we're going to get rich. Stupid rich people.
It's true. All you have said, that is true.
Anyways, we need that. On that note, I think we're going to stop this podcast. We discussed multiple things, and I think all of them are amazingly snippetable items, and we shall do our best. Yes, it is.
Snippetable.
We're going to catch you guys next week. Please till then, like, share, subscribe, do all that jazz. Why not? Why not help a struggling podcast? Okay, guys, catch us next time. Until then, we need to say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.